Welcome back to the Brandon Golden Show. Today we have Connor Norby on. Super excited to talk to him about his growth from as a high school player to when I had the opportunity to coach him as a collegiate player here at East Carolina, and then just everything that's gone on in his career, getting drafted in the second round, 41st overall, playing through the minor leagues with Baltimore, and then now being with Miami, having the chance to play for Clayton. And this offseason, I'm training him and preparing him for spring training. So get ready to listen. We're excited to have Connor on. Connor, welcome, my man.
BG, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's always good to see you.
Yeah, always good to see you.
Yeah, so let's just get started. I want to really give people like a deep dive of what it takes to do literally everything you've done. Since graduating high school, playing college baseball, having the chance to play pro ball, and then being a big leaguer. So let's go East Forsyth days. What was it like as a maybe freshman, sophomore in high school, playing in Kernersville, knowing that you had an opportunity and the skill set to play college baseball?
Well, so I moved from Minnesota to North Carolina right before my freshman year. So, I mean, up in Minnesota, baseball's like not. I wouldn't say it's not as good as the South and North Carolina, and can only play so long. But just the talent level across the board isn't the same. But up there, I was playing already high school baseball, like in middle school. Like I was playing kids 5 years older than me, and so I moved to North Carolina, had nothing, like knew nothing, and like I went to a tryout. I was at the tryout, and like they threw me. Like I was just expecting to be with JV because like that's just what I had heard at the time. Like you just kind of move slowly in the high school systems here, especially good programs. Like my freshman year, we went to the fourth round. We had like 11 seniors and like 6 or 7 guys went to play college baseball. So like my position was kind of slim pickings at the time, and so it was like I'm gonna go play JV and hopefully you get called up for the conference tournament and playoffs and stuff, and you go sit the bench. And um, but I like that first tryout day. Like I guess I impressed the coach a little bit because he pulled me aside, and like I started practicing with like varsity, but then I'd go play with JV a little bit, and then that's when I kind of like knew, I guess, like gave me kind of confidence that I can play down here as well. And then honestly, like that summer, I didn't play that well. And then um, my sophomore year, I started, had a good sophomore year, went that summer. Once I don't know what it is. I didn't play great ever really in the summer, so I don't know how he's Cliff. Well, I don't know what Cliff saw in the summer, but um, I didn't play too great. And going into junior year, like knew it was a big year for me, and then um, had a great year in high school, and then that summer was like make or break at that point because it's your last, like it's your biggest recruiting time. And I had some schools like talk to me. I had um, when I committed, I only had 3 offers, but I had like you've always have interest from 10 other schools or whatever it is, but I knew where I wanted to go. My mom wanted me to go elsewhere at the time, no matter what she says. Uh, but yeah, when really, I think like I didn't fully believe I could play college ball until like you started facing like guys that were already committed, and you were like seeing how you kind of stack up against them. And like I remember playing like state games or whatever, as simple as that is. And our team at the time, you have like 20 players on a roster. I think 18 of them were going to like major D1 schools, like across the board. And usually like you're starting and you're playing pretty well. And it's like, wow, I kind of like, if these guys are going here, like I can go do this type thing. And um, yeah, I think that it's kind of what propelled me into thinking that, I mean, there's a lot of things like that go into it. My work ethic. I was around really good people. Andy Harper, rest in peace, but he was a big influence on me. My high school coach at the time, like he really pushed me. As even when I didn't want to, and he got on my last nerves. He was big for my development. And I had a good support system with my family and um, everybody else.
Yeah, man, that's really cool. When did you start getting recruited by East Carolina?
Uh, I would say like the summer of going into junior year, Roselle, at the time, he was, I mean, a couple camp letters, that type of thing. And then that turned into like my high school coach reaching out. They came to a game, and then they slowly Colombo kind of made his way. I met Colombo and JP, and then Cliff came a few times. Um, but yeah, it was, I think, that sophomore year, late that sophomore year.
Yeah, I heard a story the other day. I was actually at the scrimmage when in Greensboro the other day when they were scrimmaging UNCG, and your mom was there, and she said that CG walked in, saw you hit a bomb, and then turned around and left, and was like, "Cool, let's make
He,
that
uh,
kid a
he,
pirate."
well, that's the nice way of putting it. The backstory is I went to camp and I was under the impression that it was right before my senior, yeah, right before, I can't remember. It was right before the school year, and I was at camp, and it was like you had a long day, and the day before, and I came in that Sunday, and Cliff saw me like outside the cage, and he's like, "Norb's like, how we doing?" And I'm like, and he's all amped up at 9 a.m., and I'm just a high school kid that's just like, what, like, and I said I was tired. At the time, I said it like a joke. He doesn't think it's a joke, and apparent the rumor, like he said that he told JP, like, I don't want him, like he's not coming, he's not gonna make it here. So like I had no idea. He didn't tell me this until like a year later or 2 years later when I got to campus. But um, yeah, then like 2 weeks at camp ends, like they don't offer me, and I'm kind of mad about it. And then like 2 weeks later, my high school team's ironically playing in Pitt for like just a fall ball weekend, and so I hopped in because they knew I was getting recruited by them, so they're like, "Well, we'll make it easy on you. We'll just go down there so they can see you." And um, I went, and Cliff saw one at bat, and I hit a home run. I didn't hit many homers in high school, so that was God right there. And Cliff was walking out of the stadium as I'm crossing home plate, and my mom like ran to the dugout and like started like yelling at me, like, "What did you do?" I was like, "I have no idea. Like, we'll find out." And then like 2 days later, he called and said that they were going to offer me. So
That's awesome. That's really cool,
little
man. So,
little
I mean,
backstory for Pirate fans right there.
yeah, no doubt. I mean, for those of y'all listening that don't know, I had the opportunity to be Connor's strength coach when he was here at East Carolina, and yeah, man, we've been able to do some really cool things together, and it's we'll talk about this here in a little bit, but getting back together, training you, getting ready for the major league season coming up. But before we get to that, like from a college baseball standpoint, like what does it take to be ready for college baseball, and what would you tell yourself, and I guess kids that are trying to follow the same footsteps that you did to be ready?
Um, I would say high school is like, if you thought high school was hard, you're in for a rude awakening, because when you start dealing with the college schedule and the lifts, the conditioning, the practices, the scrimmages, and then you add class and study hall, and you have to find literally time to just try to eat and get calories in, and just simple stuff like that. Like, um, it's a lot, and I think the ones that can manage their time the best, they are the ones that figure it out the quickest and succeed. I think quicker than others, um, and I think if you have a really good support system, like you have a good group of teammates, which is what I was fortunate to have. Like I was able to lean on Ryder and Franny and those guys, and like we really built a good bond at a time. And even like you lean into older guys, I would say that too. Like you lean into the older guys. Like I was really close with, like Dusty saved me and Smalls saved me. Those guys, because they understood it, and how it works. And I would say that like time management and leaning into older guys that have been there, done that.
Yeah, that's absolutely unbelievable advice because I mean, you don't know what you don't know when you're getting into those situations, and you're just a talented kid that's coming in and trying to make a name for yourself, and yeah, you have to depend on people in this world. So, Norbs, a lot of people always talk about you've been able to hit your entire life Do you agree with that? And if so, how have you become this hitter that you are today?
I would, yeah. I think I knew at a kind of young age that I just had a gift for it, and I've also saw like I've worked my tail off since I was 7 years old, really, to be where I was, to be where I'm at now, and I credit everything's credit to God, but also like I do put the hours in, and my dad, he was really tough on me, and I think that also has helped make me um, the hitter I am as well, and I think I'm able to just do some things like that. It's hard, especially right-handed hitters. Like being the ability to stay inside the baseball like that, you really only see it in lefties and stuff like that. But I think I can do that. But it does create some issues here and there. But everybody's got holes. But yeah, I would always say that I've been a hit first guy, and I'm trying to remove that label. I'm trying to get my defensive game up. That's really important to me right now. So, but yeah, I would probably label myself as hit first, and that was my calling card, and has been.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And it was like that when you were here in college too. So be watching you be able to hit and just do the things and having the utmost confidence in yourself all the time. I'm sure you remember this, but we were in Louisville and we were getting ran pretty good, and you came up and I can't remember if it was game one or game two, but you pitched and you came over to me and you're like, "Hey, I told you I can pitch, dude." And I'm like, "Right, Connor, you're not. I'm aware."
Maybe a few other choice words in between
Yeah,
there.
yeah, no
Uh,
doubt.
that was that was a tough weekend, but yeah, like I think I'm a competitor, and um, I wasn't playing a ton as a freshman, and it was like being able to do that and show a little bit of that, and like saving an arm, especially knowing that like all right, game one's kind of a wash. Like we gotta make sure like we have as many guys fresh as possible for game two, and being able to save some guys right there, it was big. And I thought like um, I think it also I thought it also kind of gave them like a chance, like hey, like maybe if we get a big lead or something, like he can go and save another arm if we get to that Sunday, that third game type thing. But um, it's not the way it worked out. But yeah, like I can pitch. I can't anymore though. The arm
Right.
shot.
Yeah, we'll get it rolling. One of the things that you just said there, I think is super impactful that I want people to kind of understand. You didn't play a whole lot your freshman year. How did you handle that then, and how has that helped you get to where you're at today?
It was tough. It was um, that summer was a wake up call. That fall was really tough, and then I really didn't like. I mean, I thought about transferring. I was talking to buddies at other schools like, "Would your coach take me?" And I remember one of my best friends at the time. He was like, he's like, "Yeah, our coach would take you, but you can't do that. Like, you can't leave. You're too good." And I understand like you're frustrated and stressed and pissed and all these things. But he's like, if just stick with it, like it's gonna turn, and it did. But I wanted to leave. I don't. Cliff doesn't know that, I don't think, but at the time I wanted to. But I knew like a lot of my problems were self inflicted, and and it was also just tough. Like I had a senior in front of me, who was all conference year before. Like you kind of take a step back and you put yourself in like Cliff's shoes, and it's like I'm not gonna play this freshman who can't even practice right over a senior who was an all conference last year, right? So, um, but once I started kind of getting the hang of it, and like my playing time increased a little bit, but I say that, and then towards that last like month of the season, like regional conference tournament, um, even the weeks leading up to that, like I was playing in some capacity every day, and it was just like, all right, like my trust is gaining a little bit, like whether it's even just I'm going base run and something like that, and um, that was big. And then went to summer ball and kind of like figured out who I was again. And I think that was one of the best things for me is I went to Waynesboro, started um, getting my confidence back as a hitter. Like played really well over the summer with Bryson, and then came back that fall, and um, they like kind of had a pretty good fall. And that was the year of COVID, and I'd say the best thing for me was COVID because I was fortunate enough to have some stuff at home where a rack and dumbbells and stuff. So I was working out, and my dad was in town for a lot of it. So we went and hit every day. I was working out, pretty much every single day of COVID, and when I went back to school for a little bit and was working out there. But I saw it as a chance for, and I played well during COVID for the 17 games. But I was like I said, I think the best thing for me was COVID, because I thought I took it one, or at least one step forward above everybody during that time, because I wasn't just sitting around. And um, I came back that junior year, and that fall, and I felt like I felt like I put in the work, and the confidence was there.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It was easy to see too. Like it was palpable. You could just tell there was a difference about who you are and just how you went about your business, which was fun to see that growth. Thanks for tuning into the Brandon Golden Show. Just wanted to talk briefly about Clean Fuego and our sponsor. So if you're looking for better spin efficiency and really to be able to throw the ball without cutting it and have true spin, check out Clean Fuego at cleanfuego.com. Thanks for tuning in to the Brandon Golden Show. Let's talk about the draft a little bit. And when you got drafted, second round, was it 41st overall? Is that right?
Yeah.
So what was that like for you, knowing that being a professional baseball player was your goal the whole time, and to be able to do the things that you want to do on your own terms now? Like, what was that like then, and how is that still today, that moment?
I mean, the draft was beyond stressful. It was more stressful than I thought it would be. I knew I was going at some point, just you don't know where. And I was never about money for me. It was always about being in the right organization that I could grow as pretty much and go through the system quickly. And um, fortunately, I did. And I know I'm no longer with Baltimore, but that was a blessing to be drafted by them at the time I was, and being in their organization, learning um, really how to grow my game, and being around the people I was around. And yeah, it was big for me. And um, what was the second part of the question?
Just like, does that still have an impact on you now? Like that thought process and just being drafted, like how does that impact what you
Yeah,
do on a daily basis?
yeah. Like everyone always asks, like, "How's the major leagues? Like, how is it?" And it's just like it's you. I still am like pinching myself almost every single night you go out there. You don't get that feeling anywhere else in the world. You don't, those 20 minutes leading up to the game time, those nerves start kicking in, like that adrenaline starts that running, and it's different. Um, you don't get it anywhere else, and especially when you're playing in front of some big crowds, and the teams that the teams that we do in our division, especially Philly, Atlanta, New York, like those places are loud. And it's the best play. It's the best job in the world, and um, it's the hardest job in the world, but it's the best job in the world.
Yeah, I would imagine. How did the minor leagues prepare you, and how was that different than college? Like, how was being in the minor leagues, knowing there's a process to get to be a big leaguer? How was that, and was it similar to college, or was it just completely and utterly different?
I mean, there's always similarities and differences, but I think like in college or in pro ball, it's not really, especially when you're going through the systems. And I wish it would change a little bit. And I thought in Baltimore we actually did a really good job. At least the guy, because we were like the guys that we were with, like we were all super close. And I would say like 90+% of the teams in minor league baseball, it's not really like a team per se. Like it's a roster, but everyone obviously is fighting for you're going to the next level, you go to the next level, blah blah blah. Like that's the goal. Like how am I doing that day? And I thought at the time with the group that I was with, especially like we won the national championship in 23 in AAA, like that group I was with, like I had gone through the system with several of those guys, if not most of them, at one point or another. And you kind of build those relationships. Not saying that other teams don't have those relationships, but like we've kind of put our individual play aside, and it was more about the team, because we wanted to essentially like we wanted to win every game. And um, that was the goal. And I thought that's how the big leagues is for sure. You put your own individual performance away to an extent. Like it always matters, but at the end of the day, that's all that matters is it a W or an L at the end of the day. And in college, that's what it is. It's for the betterment of the team. It's the one heartbeat. It's the rah rah. It's that type of stuff. But I wouldn't say you get that everywhere in professional baseball. I hope that the teams and players do lean towards that more because I do think it helps individual performance. I think it can take the stress off a little bit if you're focused on winning. And people always say like, "Oh, I want to win," but it's like, do you like? And I've been that way too. Like you go back after a bad game and you may have won and you're pissed and it's just like you kind of grow up and mature and you're just like, you know what, like if I continue to do this and I focus on the right things and do the right things, like good things will happen. And that's basically what Cliff preaches. So I think that there's a similarity for you.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What was it like getting traded, and how like did you know that was going to happen? How did that all work out?
It was like my life got flipped upside down at the time. I was full on panic mode. I did not see it coming because I thought it was, if anything, my name had been floated around for the 2 years prior, and this is why I get off social media now or at least need to during the season. And but you, I thought it was at least going to happen the year before, just because you're not blind to it. Like our system was loaded, and um, we had won the national championship, like I said, that year, and we were. I think from that team, I counted like the other day. It was like we have 14, 15 big leaguers that either currently play or, um, and like 6 or 7 of them are starting every day somewhere at least. So it's like we were loaded, and you kind of saw the writing on the wall for at least some of us. Like the Orioles at the time, like they were a playoff team, they needed to bolster their bullpen or whatever it may have been, this position, that position, whatever. Um, so, but that year I was up, I was playing. We had just played a doubleheader the day before. I started the second game. I was playing that night. Like it was we were like getting down to the nitty gritty. Like we needed to win some games, and I was playing okay. Like and got the call, and you're full on panic mode. Like you kind of just sit there and you kind of stare off and into space, and you're just like, what just happened? And then full on panic mode sets in. I'm calling my agents, I'm calling my parents, and I'm just like, this is like, I don't know, like what's happening, like what, just I don't know. And then I remember sitting at like I was out to dinner like that night or something, and the Orioles game was on, and I'm just like, I'm supposed to be out there right now. Like this is crazy.
Yeah, that's probably a really weird feeling watching the boys when you were literally just with him.
Yeah.
What did it look like when you got with Miami? Like how different were the organizations? Just the simple things with like just meeting with the staff and then just interacting with the support staff, and how did that go when you first got there?
It was they really it was weird because Miami had just pretty much come off a fire sale. Like I think they traded 11 guys. They got like 20 20 plus new guys in the system, like whether at all levels. So like when I got to I got option to AAA Jacksonville at the time because the goal was I'd never played third base, and I needed to. They wanted me to get at least some reps down there before I came up, and but it was I like they fully embraced me with open arms. And um, we the 2 weeks even I was down in the minors at the time to learn third base, essentially, like they were with me every day. Like they brought guys in, coordinators and stuff, to help me as fast as and learn as much as I could in a short amount of time. And then when I got up to Miami, at the time the manager was Skip Schumacher, and he was unbelievable. He he really like kind of took me in, and he made me feel comfortable, and that's what you want to feel as a young guy, and you don't want to feel like you're stepping on toes. And he really took that upon, I think, himself and a lot of the other older guys at the time, like Jake Berger. Those guys like they really helped me, and but it's a different situation because Miami, we were in the middle of just starting like a huge rebuild and that type of thing, where Baltimore was win now, and but it's if you look back and you kind of take this microscope and you're like, this is good for me because they view me as a piece that they want going forward and along with everybody else. So it's like the guys that are in this clubhouse and the guys that are in the minors right now, like that's gonna be us in 2-3 years. Like we're gonna be the guys fighting for division titles every year, and that's the goal. And so like you look at it like that, and it kind of changes your perspective a little bit, and that's what I did, and it helped me a lot. And this year, I mean, with Miami, like obviously it's hard because we had an entire new staff this year, and with Clayton and everybody that they brought in. So like I came to spring training not knowing like anybody, and it's like didn't come like obviously you don't know anybody when you get traded, and then came in this spring training didn't know really anybody again. So it was like this is gonna be another crazy ride, and I hope it pans out, and you're like you want to win, and and you see all this stuff on social media about what they project you, and I thought like Clayton and the team as a whole, as young as we were, I think we were the youngest roster in baseball by a lot, and we missed the playoffs by like I think 3 games, and we weren't supposed to do. We were supposed to lose over 100, so it's a culture. It's a really good culture they're building with Peter and with Kapler and Clayton. It's a bunch of guys that are hungry, and it's a group that's hungry, and the fans want us to succeed bad because they feel like they haven't gotten that in recent years for sure, and for a long time, and we want to bring that to them.
Yeah, absolutely, man. What would you say the difference is playing for Clayton as opposed to maybe anybody else that you've played for so far in your career?
Um, Clayton, Clayton's a player's guy. I would say he wants to know how you're doing. And I'm not saying like all like not I wouldn't say all managers are like that, and that's not saying that they can't be good one way or the other. It's just how certain guys run their team, and he's always wanting to know how you're doing. And I think that especially with a young group, you need that. You need that kind of those conversations and just stuff away from baseball, and because it's a long year, and um, I think he does a really good job of understanding his guys, and so far he did this year, and I think it was his first year, and I think he's gonna grow immensely next year and years beyond. But I overall like he was a guy I really leaned on, and he could see like when maybe a guy needed a day or when a guy was just needed to talk, and it's like I said, with a bunch of young guys, you need that, and I think having those conversations and having that relationship with your managers, it can be weird because the manager player balance at times or dynamic, and but he doesn't care. He wants to have that relationship with you, which is important to me.
Yeah, it's really cool too because there's a lot of every human, especially males that are super athletic and competitive, have an ego. But from what I've seen with him, over the years, and just watching him, and even when I was with the Dodgers in the minor leagues, and he was the first base coach in the big leagues, like he never big leagued anybody. He always wanted to make relationships, like you're saying, and help people, which was a really cool thing, and it was awesome to get to know him a little bit during my time with LA. For you, Connor, from a development standpoint, like we've kind of went through the whole process of recruiting and just like the baseball side of things. Like, let's talk a little bit about the strength and conditioning, the performance side. Like, what did that look like for you as a high school player?
It was Planet Fitness. What do you mean? I had took my mom's membership and would go. Like I didn't start lifting really until like that summer of after my junior year, and I lifted a little bit in high school. Like when you had high school workouts and summer workouts, we'd do some stuff, and it wasn't a ton. And but that summer, that going into my senior year, really like I took it upon myself. Like I knew I needed to get stronger, and I don't recommend anyone doing this, but like I would literally like wake up. I love to sleep, so I'd wake up at like 11 or 12, like go to the gym. I'd go do like, let's say I did legs and that for an hour or 2 hours, whatever. I'd go home, eat the house out, like eat anything and everything. I would go do whatever. Then I'd take like a 2 or 3 hour nap. I'd pretty much a coma, and then wake up again at like 8 or 9. Go back to the gym and hit like some upper body, and then come back, eat the house out or cook out, and then watch TV or play video games, and then go to sleep at like 2, and then just repeat. And uh, I was really like, it's not that I don't recommend that at all, but that was like how I started doing it. And me and my buddy, like we would go all the time, like late hours, early mornings. Like we were committed to it, and it was a lot of fun. And like going, like we would just do like certain, like you would do like bodybuilder lifts because it's just what you see on YouTube or whatever at the time, and we had no idea what we were doing. But then you get into um, as I got older, I understood the like. Obviously, I understood it a lot more now. But in high school, it wasn't. It was just get in and like grab some dumbbells and do some stuff, and yeah, that's where it kind of started.
Yeah. So obviously, I know what your early on in your collegiate career from the performance side looks like because I was the guy writing all the stuff that you did. From your end, what did that look like? What did you think about it? How did it help prepare you for when I left, and then even into the minor leagues?
I did not like you one bit, and you know that I didn't.
Oh yeah,
It was a lot of obviously you run a lot and you do a lot of conditioning and that stuff, but it's like you do performance movements. We work on hip mobility, work on shoulder mobility. You work on little muscles, and those like that would and the speed. It was how fast you're moving things and how powerful can we be, and um, functionally strong. That's what you are training. And I, as an 18-year-old, just wanted to go because I'm with hanging out with Bryson and Smalls and these guys, and we want to go in and just bench, and that's all we want to do. And like that's not what I like. I understand that now, but at the time, like it was tough because you want to go in and you're like you expect like, oh, we're gonna have a big lift today, and then you come in and you're doing like breathing with your hips, and you're doing hip rolls, and you're doing uh, shoulder cars and stuff like that, and it's just like this is so boring. Like, what are we doing right now? But
yeah,
you need it, and um, there's always time and place. Like you're gonna like we did get to those things where we are throwing weight up, and but the functionally strong and how fast you're moving things, that's the bread and butter. That's what you preach. That's what you need as a high performing collegiate athlete. I would say high school athlete, obviously professional athlete. It's not about the look good at times. It's about what's gonna how fast can I make myself? How powerful can I make myself? How explosive can I be?
yeah, for sure. Going into the minor leagues, how was strength and conditioning performance portrayed to you as an athlete, and I guess how was it different from the college side?
It's just tougher because you're managing your game work and all that stuff every day. But I think I found a good balance. Most guys they probably lift 2 maybe 3 times a week position on the position player side. I found what kind of works for me. I'm in there at least 3 to 4, and I kind of break my lifts up, and it's more of a total body type day every day. So I'm in there for 20, 25 minutes that way. And I think it just works for me because I'm able to lift every day. I'm not going in and having to do an hour lift one day and then 2 or 3 days later I'm getting another hour lift in where you're kind of cashed on those days, and you want to save as much energy obviously for the game. It's the important thing. But um, that's what I found that works for me, and I feel like I'm energetic for the games, and I'm still like I'm not getting as like sore. I feel like I'm still getting stronger throughout the year, at least maintaining my strength. And um, obviously like strength and conditioning in professional sports and baseball it's extremely important. If you I know guys that don't, and I think that, and ironically, I think the guys that don't, they kind of break down easier. And their whole reasoning, I've asked a couple of them, they don't like, whether it's been prior injuries or they don't want to break down and they want to save their energy. But what's the trade off if you're on the IL? And I've been on the IL quite a few times this year, and it's not fun. I'll tell you that. So, um, and there's always adjustments that you need to make, and um, what you need on any given day might be different than what you need the next day or a week or two from now. And um, but yeah, it's crucial, I think, to staying on the field. It's crucial to even getting, like, for me, faster throughout the year. And you think about it, like the stolen bases, like it comes down to milliseconds. Where can I gain that millisecond at? And whether it's the push off or um, stride length or whatever it may be. And that's like when you're training correctly, that's where that comes into play.
Yeah, 100%, man. And it's really you were just on my mind towards the end of the regular season, and when I reached out to you, it was like, look, man, like I've watched you. I know how talented you are. I know you. I know what you need. I know Clayton. I know JT. I now know the physical therapist with the Marlins just by talking about you yesterday with him. And I was just like, hey, man, like you're super talented. I think you have a chance to do something really special. Like let's get back together. I know there's going to be some things I'm going to have you do that you're not going to like, but I think you have a chance to be super special in the big leagues and do something special with that organization. So let's throw the kitchen sink at it and let's see kind of what happens. And man, like I'm super excited to be working with you this off season. Eccentrics, isometrics, or something really big that we're working on. What would you say for you specifically? I know you and I have talked about this, but for the listeners, like what are your goals for this off season from the performance side, and how are we, in your mind, how are we developing you to be that defensive player that that we all know you can go be while also still hitting and running?
I mean, everyone always says bigger, faster, stronger. But it's more so for me, like, if I got to be on the field, and last year was the most frustrating, or this past year was the most frustrating year of my career, hands down, bar none. Injuries, performance at times, all of the, like, everything combined, like, it was just a tough year. And the first thing I need to make sure, like, I'm on the field. And what it's like, you look at the grand scheme of things. All right, I break my hand, whatever, that's a freak thing. All right, oblique, had the oblique injury. Like, all right, what can we do to help that? Or I had some hamstring stuff throughout the year. What can we do to help that? And then at the end, had the quad thing. So it's like you look at all these things and they're soft tissue, and it's like it's not always like, all right, well, we're gonna squat a lot. It's not always like that. It's this, like I said, the smaller muscles and that we need to do. And talking with you and JT, it's like I need to get that half foot back on my sprint speed. So it's like, how can we get there? And it's a lot of like explosive things right now, and it's a lot of like isos and putting the body through certain different types of stress instead of doing just a bunch of reps or putting a bunch of weight on. It's like it's breaking down the body a little bit differently than normal. And um, like we've talked about, the ultimate goal is you got to be on the field to play and perform. So that's the goal number one. Two is obviously, like I said, just be more explosive. And how do you get more explosive? Well, you train explosively, and you do the things that, like, you do jumps, you do what else we're doing? We're doing a bunch of the holds, and you got to explode up. And then
Mm-hmm.
I think the ISOs, like you said, like I hate them, but they're what I need to do. And like going back to what we were talking about earlier, like when I didn't understand it all because I get my workout sheet every day. I look on my phone, and it's like I don't know what half these things are. Like it's a lot of band work. It's a lot of like ISOs. It's a lot of like things that I've like are not typical for me, but like I know at the end of the day, like this is what's going to help me and help keep me on the field, and what's going to get me that extra step back that I either lost or can improve on.
Yeah, no doubt. And for the listeners, like basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to increase his overall capacity, like Connor, like your load tolerance, your body's ability to produce force, and the rate that it produces force on all of those things. Like you've always been an above average strong guy for your size and like body weight. Like I have no doubt that you're going to be strong. My thought process and like what we're trying to do with you is exactly what you said is longevity. There's 162 games in the regular season. You're going to be playing somewhere in the infield. How do we get you? You're probably going to be hitting, correct me if I'm wrong, anywhere from 3 to 6. Like you're going to be in the heart of the order. You're going to be doing all these things at a super high level. So being able to train you and making sure that you're prepared for that, so then you can work with Clayton, you can work with JT, you can work with all these guys who are super talented to go do exactly what you were meant to do, is be a big leaguer. So that's exactly what we're trying to do, and we're going to keep building it up that way, man. A couple things before we get rolling here. Just gonna throw some quick questions at you, and just want you to kind of respond the way you hear them. What's been your favorite thing as a big leaguer?
The food.
Where?
Uh, Philly's good. Miami's good. Texas, Texas, and I'll go San Fran.
Love that. Love that. What is your what's something maybe in professional baseball, it doesn't necessarily have to be the big leagues, but something in professional baseball that had a huge impact on you that you at first may have not understood that it was going to have that type of impact?
Um, I would say the supporting cast. Like you don't realize how many people are actually around you and there on the daily basis, and um, like catering to you. Everybody says like, "Oh, he's a big leaguer," right? But like they're like you truly get treated like it all the time, and because they understand it's the hardest thing in the world to do, and the goal is to win, and they're going to do everything in their power to help you win. I mean, we have analytical guys in the cage during games, like making sure guys that are coming in a pinch hit or whatever, like that are on the machines ready and getting whatever they need at that time, and like that's even something as little as that is huge.
Yeah, and you can see it on TV. I mean, you see it during the World Series, all the guys with the iPads and just having conversation with guys and letting them know different strategies and what's about to happen, man. So it's a pretty cool thing. You've earned the right to be there. I'm super excited to be working with you this off season and can't wait to see how it all finishes up and get you ready for spring training.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for doing this. Proud of you, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks, BG. See you soon.